All right, everyone. My name is Benny Ferguson, and this is Reconnecting in Love, where we connect with loved ones who have already made the transition back to the other side of the veil, who have already passed away. And I forgot that I asked my mom a few days ago if she wanted to have something to say today. Right now, we're doing basically on Wednesdays. I put up a new video with a sharing, and actually I recorded on Wednesdays. But I forgot I had asked my mom, and so my mom's here, and she's going to share a little bit with us. She made her transition February the 9th of 2020. So without any further ado, I'd like to welcome my mom. Hello, Benny. You have opened the door for many who desire to speak into the third dimensional reality in which you now exist. There are so many here who have made the transition and have wisdom and knowledge that they want to share, especially right after the transition, because the truth really opens up for you when you make the transition and you realize the many mental vices that were keeping you from the realization of your truth, the realization of your wholeness. I myself was crippled with sickness and disease as a result of not knowing, not ever realizing that I was connected to source completely, and that well-being is the truth, and that connectivity is the truth. There's so much pain and so much frustration and so much fear that comes as a result of feeling separated, feeling alone, fighting for position, fighting for respect and recognition amongst fellow human beings, when the truth is that you are connected to the whole, that you are the whole, and that everything that you experience is you. And so if that's the case, think of the depth of understanding that comes along with that. There is no competition. There are no obstacles. There are no challenges. There are no competitors. There's no one fighting against you. There's no one trying to stop you. There are no ceilings. There are no floors. There's only endless possibility to be acquired, to be attained. There's only expansion to be had and to be felt. There's only experiences to be created in the highest energies that you can fathom. That's all there is. But there are things that you have to be aware of. There's knowledge that you have to acquire in order to gain the understanding that propels your personal power into the stratosphere of understanding. You have to understand that you are one with all that is. You have to understand that your mind is creating your reality. The patterns, the beliefs that exist in your mind are what creates the resistance between who you are now and that which you desire. There is no resistance in the universe. There are no blockages. There are no obstacles in the universe. The obstacles, the blockages, the challenges that you experience in your life, you hold in your mind. And knowledge releases you from those obstacles. Knowledge of who and what you really are dissolves the resistance. It elevates you beyond the resistance. Knowledge that all is energy, that all is the result of frequency. And if you begin to manage and elevate the frequencies that you express from the core of your being, that your life experiences will begin to reflect the nature of the frequencies that you are emitting. Now, I know that's a lot. Many of you are starting to become aware of it, but most are not. And it's my hope that those of you who are listening begin to play and practice with the words that I'm speaking. Because all of us, immediately when you take your transition, you know. You don't try to know. You don't go to class to learn. You immediately know. But it's not something that has to be halted or paused until you experience the transition. You can understand now. Many have known. Many have understood and began to live their life from that understanding. And to live from that understanding, wow. Now you're at the wheel of an amazing ride. You are capable of creating an amazing ride now in your physical life. This is what I think the goal is to. Not just to connect and know that your loved ones exist, know that they are with you and that they love you beyond measure, and that they love you more than you can ever know, and that they love you without condition, and that there's nothing that you can do to separate yourself from that love, and there's nothing you can do to separate yourself from the love of Source, because you are Source, and Source is you. But I think the greater understanding, the greater message is that you can know the truth of your being now. You do not have to wait for the transition. You can know the truth of your being. You can know the truth of you as Source energy and begin to live from that place. You can release the resistance, dissolve the resistance that exists within your mind and begin to live from the state of being that is Source. You can do it now, but you must program yourself to it. You must elevate your frequencies and your tones. You must release the resistance in your mind to the truth of your being, to the truth of your nature, to the freedom that you are, the peace that you are. It is possible. And again, there are so many here desiring to share. There's so many here who love you immensely. Each of you now have the opportunity to hear, to begin to understand and to know your true nature. This is what each one desires to share. That you don't have to suffer, that you don't have to be in pain, that you don't have to carry the weight, the traumas, the misunderstandings, because they damage your body. Over time, the emotion that you carry, the pains, they damage your body, they weaken your body. For as the mind goes, the body goes. For as the mind creates, the body experiences. And if you're constantly creating pain, if you're constantly creating despair, if you're constantly creating frustration, anger, stress type emotions, then your body is constantly taking those hits and it tries to manage them, but As you get older, it gets less and less capable of handling the strength of that emotion. And that emotion begins to manifest as dis-ease in the body. This is what happened to me. The dis-ease that I was carrying from emotional damage from my childhood, experiencing happenings between my mother and my father, who was an alcoholic, that pain, that emotion I carried all my life, and it manifested in my digestive tract as cancer. Cancer that in February of 2020, I succumbed to. I decided to release myself of the body because it could no longer function with the disease that had manifested itself throughout. It wasn't just in my digestive system anymore. It was all over my body. It was in my brain. It was in my lungs. It was in my stomach. It was in my intestines. And as Benny would tell you, immediately after I left my body, my physical body, the look of it from the outside returned to a peaceful state. And my physical body no longer looked disease-ridden. It no longer looked damaged. It no longer looked in pain. It no longer looked constricted. Because the mind that was creating that state within the body was no longer active. And so the body returned to a peaceful state. And it looked more at peace, and it looked more healthy than it had looked in years, because the disease, the dis-ease, was manifesting and creating that dis-eased body. And that's the way it looked. But it is not the natural state. It's not anyone's natural state to be to experience dis-ease. It's not anyone's natural state to carry anger, frustration, or any type of emotional pain over a period of time. It is natural to feel these things, but it's also high level to allow it to pass. But society doesn't teach you that. Society teaches you to hold on. Society teaches you to hold on until you prepare your defenses so that it doesn't happen to you again. But this is a mistake. If you hold on to the emotion, if you hold on to the ideas that create the emotion, then now you are resonating that level of frequency from your being. Traumatic events, negative ideas, pains, hurts that you have experienced. Holding on to those ideas only results in greater pain, greater suffering, continued experience of the ideas manifesting around you. It continues, it repeats, it repeats, it repeats as a result of your holding it within your being and continuing to express it. Because once an event happens in life, once you have an experience, it is immediately history. It immediately goes into the archives of your past, archives of your experience, and experience gone, and experience manifest. And then it's on to the next manifestation, the next manifestation. And your life looks like a continuation of yesterday, but it's actually not continuing, it's repeating, because the ideas that you're holding within your mind and body are continuing to be reflected back to you over and over and over again, because you're holding on to these ideas. And the painful ideas, they manifest within the body. because the emotion, the low frequency emotion, is not healing emotion. It's not born of love. It's not born of well-being. And over a period of time, it becomes damaging to the body. It's disruptive. Frequencies, tones, frequencies, tones, frequencies, tones. You can hear them. And the information from those frequencies and those tones lets you know whether they are life-bringing, whether they are beautiful, or whether they are damaging and disruptive, static, chaotic. These break down the body. They break down the life within the body. They create dis-ease, discomfort that over time physically manifest. It is exciting to share. I thank each of you who have heard these words. I celebrate you because you were way further down the road than I was. At 70 some years old, I hadn't heard a fraction, hadn't had the opportunity to hear a fraction of what you are hearing now. Because I was steeped in the religion of my time, of my demographic. Because I was so tied to it, there was no hearing outside of it, even though my son was walking a different path. I will take this time to make my exit. It was great speaking with you. I will be back again soon. It was an honor. Thank you.